some of the injuries over the weekend and that. I mean, how's those guys pulled up, and I guess any developments?
No, we're just getting through with a few boys that we're managing load. Obviously, the boys, the HIAs, are going through their protocol still.
Tracking well?
Yeah, they are, yeah.
And I guess in terms of the backline reshuffle in the midfield, is that something you have to look to?
Yeah, obviously it depends on Davey.
As a forwards coach, what are you looking to improve on from Melbourne?
I think we need intensity probably for a little bit longer. We had some periods there we were on and periods we were off. So I think just making sure we've got that consistency in our habits is quite a big one for us as a forward pack.
Can you pinpoint why it sort of went off the boil a wee bit in Melbourne? Or?
I think it's probably probably a mix between a bit of mindset and a little bit of skill set execution. I think that you always have periods of games where you have positives and negatives and different pressure cycles. So I think we can be a little bit better in the area of keeping the pressure on. Was probably the one that we've sort of reviewed really.
Jason, just in terms of the HIAs, I know you're reluctant to give too much away, but the All Blacks have been pretty cautious traditionally recently with those sorts of things. Is that something that's top of mind?
Oh, it's a World Rugby protocol, and it's a protocol for the All Blacks, and we have got the utmost interest for our players, so we'll do everything we can to get that right, and there'll be no risks at all.
Artie and Shannon coming back in this week, how have they slotted back into camp?
Yeah, Shannon's obviously had that niggly rib, which knew about, so he's just got to get through tomorrow, Thursday, and see how that pans out. Artie's come in fresh and selectable.
What did you make of the loose forward trio? It was a bit of a reshuffle last week.
Yeah, I think they had their moments. I think as a whole pack did, their connections, there was times as I said, that we had really good intensity in that area, and times we could have been better. So, like any combination, it takes a bit of time, and you get a couple of changes. You've got to find your rhythm pretty early, especially in test matches.
Aaron Smith mentioned yesterday there's a bit of a final with the Tri-Nations on the line. You've been involved in a fair few of those with the Crusaders. What can you take out of that, and how different is it with the All Blacks?
100% it's a final, and I think there was a couple of comments from someone who might have been a dead rubber. I don't know where that would come from. It's a New Zealand and Australia test match at Eden Park, and there's a lot on the line, and we're treating it as a final. It's exactly how we're treating it, and we've prepared accordingly to respect that.
Bonus points or points differential, does that come into your thinking at all?
Oh, look, it's definitely in the thinking, but it's not front of mind. You've got to win the game, and that's the same with the finals, win the game. So that's how we've approached it.
Jace, the guys said yesterday that after the review, it was kind of had a feel of almost coming off a loss because the review was pretty harsh and had some home truths about it. Do you feel there's an edge in the team this week, given how close you did come to defeat?
Yeah, look, I've always said that a review should be the same on a Monday, whether or not you win or lose. Any coach can be hard on a Monday after a loss. Usually that means you haven't got your week right. So, we reviewed accordingly, and that's where we've made, some shifts in those areas in reviewing, like review honestly every day, review every training. But yeah, it was, and it should have been.
I'll take you back to the crazy last 5 minutes in Melbourne, mate. The All Black forwards seemed to have the upper hand at the end, and particularly the line-out drive off that last penalty that you guys got, sort of split up there, and Dane got penalised. What happened there? Can you break that down?
Yeah, just sort of come through the middle of our maul there, and we lost our feet really, and lost a bit of momentum, and sort of killed it. It was marginal, probably our fault, and decision making potentially around staying on our feet. I think we got no complaints there, but yeah, we had a bit of momentum in our favour, definitely in that little period. So, yeah. And again, like I said, we're getting good parts and parts we were sort of knocking off. So we've got to keep up the good parts and positive cycles, really.
Jace, what was your assessment of our Scott Barrett when at 6? Because it can't be easy moving between second row and 6 a couple of times this year.
Yeah.
How do you think he went?
Yeah, I'd say he's probably our best performing All Black forward, to be honest. He's been outstanding in every role. He's a huge part of our four pack, and he prepares accordingly, and he's playing some really good rugby. He's been consistent. I think that's followed on from the Super Rugby season, and he's hit the All Blacks running, and he's a pivotal part of the All Black team and our forward pack.
And having Artie back, I mean, as you say, he's fresh. He brings obviously an element of energy and kind of efficiency and everything he does. How important is that for you this week?
Yeah, really important. He's he's got a lot of mana in the group. He's fresh here, but he's just had another baby, so I'm sure there's been a couple of sleepless nights. But look, he's great for us. He's a real energy giver. We get a lot of energy off him in our group, and having that week off will definitely freshen him up, and he'll be sharp and ready to go.
Personally for you, Jace, you mentioned this is like a final against Australia, Eden Park, packed, sold out. I mean, for you, an occasion like this, what does it mean to you?
Really looking forward to it. I've said before, love coaching against the Wallabies, especially Dan McKellar. We've got a lot of respect, him and I together, and so I look forward to that part of it. But it's really about the All Blacks and us putting on a good performance at home and at Eden Park. But just because it's Eden Park isn't a given either. It's a final, so we prepare like that.
There's a bit of pride in that record and wanting to defend it, maintain it.
Yeah, it's not sort of something that's been talked about really around the record side of it. We're just looking for that test, but it's definitely there. It's no secret. The boys usually go right here, but there's no given either.
Did anything in that Aussie pack surprise you, Jace? I thought the loose forwards played fairly well at times. Anything else?
Yeah, I thought Valentini's huge for them. He's played great Super Rugby as well, and Pete Samu as well, his ball carrier. They've got athletes that can give you really good variation. Their contact work and their lead drive and their carry is really good. Good variation around their line out. Not really a surprise, but definitely the breakdown becomes a big area and getting quick ball.